Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here on Tuesday, and this time we're going to talk about AI and quantum computing. And quantum computing should become one of the main foundational elements of AI in the future. And there's a good reason for this. And the reason is that classical computers have theoretical limitations. Now, there may be unknown science that will allow classical computers to exceed what their current perceived limitations are, but for sure, quantum computing has the potential to exceed that of classical computing. So what is classical computing? Classical computing means that on a chip, it's a binary code, and in any position there must be a 0 and a 1. And that's the way physical matter works. It's called the Standard Model, and it describes matter and energy at the level that we see it, which is physical objects. And certainly computer chips and computers and servers and all that are physical objects, right? But there's a whole other part of physics, and it was invented in 1905 by Albert Einstein, and it's called the general theory of relativity. And what Einstein's general theory attempted to do was to describe matter at a very, very small scale, which is subatomic. And at that level of smallness, matter can behave not only as a particle like classical physics, but it can also behave as a wave. And also, what is observed when you're looking at subatomic particles is affected by the person looking at it. So rather than having definite positions for ones and zeros, quantum computers do not have that. At the moment of observation, at a specific point, the result must be the 1 or 0, but it could be 1 or 0, not 1 or 0 only. So quantum computing has the potential to be much faster and much more powerful than traditional computing. And this is why the development of quantum computing is so important to the continued evolution of AI, right? Because we talked at the beginning that AI is an algorithm, it's software, and it needs very powerful computers to run. So the more powerful you can make the computer running the AI, the better the AI. And quantum computing has been around for a while, probably since the 80s, but it's really just starting to come to a level of development where it's still not really practical, but it certainly is producing results. So, for example, what happened very, very recently, and I'm talking in the fall of 2019, so less than a year ago, NASA was working with Google and the University of California system, and they achieved what's called quantum supremacy. And what does that mean? That means that for a very difficult computing problem, a quantum computer beat a classical computer for the first time. So this problem that they gave the two computers would have taken the classical computer more than 10,000 years to solve, and a quantum computer solved it in minutes. So this is a great example of the extraordinary potential power of quantum computers. So given that AI performs better and better, the more memory you have in the computer and the more data you have in the computer, quantum computers offer an entirely new level of power for artificial intelligence. And I just thought of this, but it's most likely that the only way to attempt to actually reach what they call AGI, or artificial general intelligence, is with a quantum computer. Most likely you will not be able to do that with a classical computer because of its limitations. So this is a big, big deal. We're way away from artificial general intelligence. As we've talked about, AI is still very specific, right? It's written as a specific solution to a specific problem, although neural nets with deep learning are able to learn. And so they get better and better and better at looking at data and finding patterns within the data. But still, that AI is given a specific task to do. It's not like the human brain that can do any task once you focus on it. That's artificial general intelligence. So that's it for now. We're going to talk more about quantum computing at least one more time, maybe two more, and then we'll move into our last AI by industry area. So we're getting close to that. And then once we finish AI by industry, we're going straight into current events all the time, all the time. So see you on Saturday. Take care, be well, stay healthy.